Yeah, shit. Here we go again. Not the show. I'm happy to do the show. I enjoy doing this. No, just stupidity out in the world. Dear good God. Hi, guys. This is Monkey in the Morning. I am the Ranting Monkey. Hope you guys are well. Hope you're having a great day. I've had a rough couple of days. My body is betraying me as normal, and just is what it is. But that's not what's bothering me. I can deal with that. I've been dealing with it for a long time. So is what it is. No, what bothers me is how goddamn dumb everybody's gotten. I'm getting ready to do the show. I would have been here right at 2 at the scheduled time. However, I went over to Twitter to get a video pulled up and ready to go. And I saw some shit that just made my fucking brain just go. I don't even know what world I woke up in. So over on Twitter, they'll give you, they don't call it trending anymore. They call it explore. And they'll show you topics that their AI has pulled from the interwebs there and what people are talking about. And in this case, it was Biden's speech sparks Hatch Act debate. And I'm like, wait, what? What the fuck? How did a Biden speech trigger a Hatch Act debate? Here's the debate about Biden violating the Hatch Act. You ready? He fucking can't. Okay? I don't like the prick either, but don't let Democrats make you fucking retarded. We've been over this so many goddamn times when Trump was president, because every time he would come out and speak, they would be like, how dare you do that? That violates the Hatch Act. I'm like, no, it actually doesn't, because the Hatch Act has a very specific exemption for the vice president and the president. They are specifically exempt from the act. Not to mention, today's Supreme Court ruling would have made it not a violation anyway, because according to them, the president giving a speech is an official fucking act. This wasn't a campaign stop. This was an address to the nation from the White House, which makes it an official act. So even if he could be found in violation of the fucking Hacked Act, which he can't, then he would still be immune, because the court declared it just today. It's what his fucking speech was about. Good God. How can people be this dumb? All right. Unless one of his officials said something and they violated it. That would still be them violating it. He literally can't violate it. He is perfectly exempt from it. Even if he went out and told one of his underlings to go do something, them doing it is the violation of the Hatch Act, not him. Maybe you could get him for an accessory to the Hatch Act, well, before today's Supreme Court decision, but not now. Adabisi, thank you so much. It's probably Dems trying to eliminate Biden. I mean, no, these are some pretty hardcore right-wing people that I was seeing. Dark Resurrect, thank you. Howdy Monk, got a job interview at a hospital. I work in the lab next week. The stress at my private lab, we process about 16,000 samples a day, is starting to affect my health. If I get it, I won't be able to watch these live anymore. Well, that sucks, man. Thank you for that feminist $12. That sucks. I know I like watching things live myself. I tend not to watch too many streams after the fact, but I hope you get the job, especially if it'll make your life easier for you. And hopefully you still listen along in the replays. I wish you all the best with it. I really, really do. Biden is the life of the party at a morgue. Yes, indeed. And yeah, of all potato, I saw he says, that's what I said. He can't violate it. Yeah, but then you threw in that unless he, one of his underlings does. I was just pointing out that even then, it's not him, it's them. The Hatch Act, for those of you who don't know, it says that while you're operating in your official government capacity, you can't do campaigning. It's more wordy than that, but that's basically it. You can't get political on the job. The president is on the job 24/7. Even when he's out campaigning, he's still technically president. He's on the job from January 20th of the year that he's elected until he dies or the term is up. He doesn't have an off day. He gets vacations and stuff, but he's still president throughout that. It's not like if you're a mail carrier, right? You deliver the mail and you have next Thursday through the following Thursday off, but they'll call you up and go, "Hey, Joe, we really need you to get this letter out." The president's vacation is not the same as yours and my vacation. It's usually much more lavish than ours. But the idea that he can violate the Hatch Act, and especially over this little dumb political speech, and I have no problem admitting it is a political speech dressed up as something official. It was, oh God, so much to talk about with the SCOTUS decision today. Oh God, where should I start? Let's start with the fact I think it's a bad decision. I think they reached the right conclusion on Trump's case because effectively they threw out half the charges against him. But the ruling itself is so overly broad that, oh God, it's going to cause problems in the future. And I blame the Democrats for it. I blame the Democrats for it because they're the ones who pushed this. They're the ones who decided to take the normal process of a president leaving office. And because they wanted to make sure he'd never run again, decided to use the court systems against him. They so much to talk about. I don't know how many of you guys read the decision. The Clarence Thomas concurrence, where he brings up the special counsel, that really needs addressed. It needs addressed, and they punted that part of it. But we'll get to all of it here. Why I don't like it, what the problems, what they got right, what they got wrong, and yeah, the basics of it are that they decided that a president, as long as he is doing official duties, and I did use air quotes there, you guys couldn't see it, but hopefully it came through in the sarcasm of my voice there. As long as he's in his official duties, then he cannot be held criminally liable, which is a very fucking dangerous thing to do. That's a very dangerous thing to throw out there that, hey, as long as, especially when you read how broad they went with it, because this wasn't just, okay, when he's like we've talked about with Trump, right? I have no doubt that Trump, honest to God, believes that he won the election. He has no doubt about it. It doesn't matter how many people have told him otherwise. It doesn't matter if they bring out every fucking person that has ever spoke to him ever, and every one of them said, "You lost, dude." He has the sincere belief that he won. And as such, as president, he had a duty to make sure that it was challenged. Their contention is, hey, people told you that it wasn't, that you lost. So, hey, if you disagreed, you're a bad man and need to go to prison. That's nonsense. That's absolutely nonsense. But this decision is so overly broad that as long as the president, this is the example that popped up. Some stupid ass Democrat was like, the President Biden could send the military to go kill the Supreme Court right now, and it will be legal. And while that's an exaggeration, it's not exactly wrong. Shit, I forgot to plug in my headphones. There we go. I went to plug them in and I got distracted by something else. And so I look over here and I see the little cord unplugged. And I'm like, God damn it. Just had a Biden moment. Sorry about that. The kind of things that they put in here in that scenario where an American president sent the armed forces, specifically the armed forces, that part is important. Excuse me. Sent them to go say kill a Supreme Court judge. You can say, wait, killing Americans isn't part of his official duties. True. But you know what is? Ordering the military. So, and yeah, look, the yes, I know all about that, but here's the thing. This overrides any illegality. Any illegality. The only time that it's that you can still hold him accountable is if it's not in his official capacity. The president's allowed to give bad orders. If they follow it or not, it doesn't matter. Because according to this, literally anything he does, as long as he can stay to that point, him talking to Mike Pence and telling Pence, hey, I need you to, not certify this vote. Because he was talking to the vice president about it, they're like, see, that's an official capacity thing. It's what he's supposed to do. I agree he shouldn't be prosecuted for that. And that's what they should have said. This is a fucking stupid case. This should all be thrown out because this is nonsense. But that's not the case that was before them. So the case that was before them, which is Trump versus United States, in a 6-3 decision with Sotomayor, not Barrett. Barrett was on the right side this time. Barrett actually probably had it most correct. But let's see. Sotomayor, Kagan, and Ketanji Brown Jackson, the three amigos of stupid, all decided this. Bad. And I hate when I have to agree with them. And I don't agree with them totally. I think Barrett gets it closest to the mark. And I wouldn't be as opposed to this if it wasn't for one tiny section of the ruling that's repeated a couple of times. And it's where Barrett objects. It's part of what the three amigos of stupid objected to. Although I do have to stop and say this. Sotomayor's dissent, it might as well have been written by the Biden campaign. It all but pronounces Trump guilty of insurrection. She's like, he did this shit. Her wording was so emotional, so ridiculously partisan. Judge Alito gets shit because his wife hung a flag that was flown at BLM protests. The upside down American flag. You just can't let him have any say on anything because it shows that he's too partisan. Meanwhile, this bitch can get up there and basically declare Trump illegally influenced the January 6th guys into an insurrection. And the press doesn't say a fucking word. They're like, oh, Sotomayor, so smart. It was one of the worst of her decisions that I've ever read. And she does try to get into the law as she gets wordy later on. But if you get a chance, just go read the beginning of it. Just read her dissent. I'll throw the link to the full decision into chat here. But read just the beginning of it. She might as well have just sentenced Trump. I realize the Supreme Court doesn't do that, but as a judge, yeah, like he's guilty and he's getting 25 to life. Because it was that fucking bad. Not a fucking peep from these assholes. Anyhow. Where should we start? You know what? Let's start with the part that I dislike. The part that opens this up to just way too much. So the Supreme Court here, they did declare that only official acts, God forbid that we have the president have scrutiny on those. Only those does he have absolute immunity on. And then there's what they called, what's the word they used? Periphery. I don't remember the exact word they used. But periphery duties that he has, things that are like speaking to the nation. Speaking to the nation is not like an official duty listed in the Constitution, but it's accepted as what the president does. And that's also in his official capacity. It's kind of sidelined, but it's still. So that's covered too. But then they throw in this part where they're talking about unofficial acts. They're talking about how you have to prove that it was unofficial, and says this: presidents cannot be indicted based on conduct for which they are immune from prosecution. That seems redundant, but apparently it needs to be said. Black Dynamite, thank you so much. Tough week for the left. Laugh my ass. Oh, it really is. It really is. They are having a meltdown. And look, I like what the outcome of this case did for Trump, but it's still a bad decision. On remand, the district court must carefully analyze the indictment's remaining allegations. Now, it says that because earlier on, they basically threw out half the case against Trump. Him talking to Pence, him giving the speech, What else did they have in there? Even talking to advisors and stuff about other electors, all of that was thrown out by the court here. The part that they left in is like calling Kemp down there in Georgia and being like, "Hey, can you give us time to find the 11,000 votes?" Which again, Sotomayor says that Donald Trump threatened. Go read it. It's fucking funny as shit. But since it's not part of his official capacity to be calling these guys, maybe that one needs to be looked at by the lower court to determine if it's official capacity. Now, as my argument made just a moment ago, if he sincerely believed that the election was stolen, then that would be covered because he's doing his job to protect and defend the United States Constitution against all enemies, foreign and domestic. So, I mean, it would be covered, but this is getting sent back down to the court to decide whether or not it is an official thing. Anyway, it says, and the parties in the district court must ensure that sufficient allegations support the indictment's charges without such conduct. In other words, they have to prove that that's not an official, him making that call. Because again, that is the specific part they're talking about here. That it wasn't in his official capacity and that it is still, let's say we make the argument like I just did, that Trump did it to defend the Constitution as is his duty, right? They have to prove that him making that call is still illegal, even if making the call wasn't made, which they can't do. This basically ends the case. Even Jack Smith couldn't pull this shit out of his ass, even with the way he abuses the legal system already. But here's the part that when I read this the first time, I stopped and went, wait, what? Testimony or private records of the president or his advisors probing such conduct may not be admitted as evidence at trial. So as they're looking to see if this was in the official capacity, right? This is part of his official duties. And they come across something where even the president's like, this is not in my official duties. That can't be presented as evidence at trial. That is fucking insane. It's fucking insane. How the fuck do you... Amy Coney Barrett's dissent here, she's like, this is nonsense. This is stuff that, if it's not pertinent to the actual case, then the judge can go, yeah, this isn't pertinent. And then an appeals court can check that if there's any question here. There is no reason to declare that some evidence just cannot be made admissible. So the thinking behind this, and it is explained earlier, is that if this is allowed, if you allow that evidence, what's going to happen is you're just going to have political actors who are going after people so that they can get this kind of information. And effectively, they say that the president has to be able to act boldly and without hesitation. And I don't disagree with that. And they said, if the president knows that this stuff could be used against him, even though he has immunity for other things, then he might not act boldly or swiftly in the same manner, which I kind of get, but it's entirely unnecessary. Okay, I don't want to say entirely unnecessary because this case shouldn't even fucking exist. This is the Democrats doing. These assholes are still so pissed off that Donald Trump beat Hillary Clinton that he must be punished. Barack Obama murdered an American. There's no question that he did it. You can question whether or not that American deserved to die, and that's fine, but that is not within the American was specifically targeted. He was in another country. He was with a foreign adversary. Yeah, all of that's true. But they specifically targeted an American to murder. Under any normal reading, he's guilty of murder and should have been prosecuted for it. But we don't do that to ex-presidents. It has to be something really fucking, there is no question. Like if he actually did send the military to kill a Supreme Court justice, then you can do it. Exactly, Dustin. It was without due process. He's an American citizen. He got no due process, and we blew his ass up. Frankly, I'm glad the guy's dead. He was a terrorist. But I mean, that's not a legal thing presidents can do. But we do recognize that presidents make mistakes. And as bad as that was, and I'm not trying to diminish what he did there, you let it go. There's a new guy in office and we move on. Somebody writes books about it, people make movies about it, and we diminish his meaning in the grand scheme of presidential history. That's what we do. And these motherfuckers were like, Donald Trump gave a speech and there was a mob. And one of the things Sotomayor brings up, Donald Trump told his people to come to DC. Yeah, there was a planned fucking rally. And she says, and directed them to go to Congress. Yeah, to the planned fucking rally there. They were both legally, they had all this stuff to get it set up. There was a little place out in front of the Capitol for people to go protest. All of it was on the up and up. But they want to pretend that Donald Trump was calling people in to take over America so we could have our insurrection. There was no fucking insurrection at all. None. But it had to be done. This had to be done because these people are so fucking corrupt that they don't give a shit. All that mattered to them was taking down Trump. You want proof? A week before Donald Trump leaves office, they impeached him over something that happened a week before. They couldn't possibly have had time to do any kind of serious investigation. And they even told us at the time that this would keep him, we have to keep him from being able to run for president again. And when everybody knew he wasn't going to be found guilty on the impeachment, they're like, but now we can say he's been twice impeached. It was all political. It was all to punish him and make sure he didn't have another run. And it was all because he beat Hillary, because Hillary was the heir apparent. It's her turn. And it wouldn't have mattered if it was Trump or anyone else, any of the other 15 people who ran for president on the Republican side in 2016, whoever won, they would have done this too. They could not be allowed to get away with, democracy. How dare people vote in ways they aren't told is acceptable. But anyway, yeah. So while I think the ruling's immediate effect is great, it's fine. The long-term effect that this has is that presidents can literally do whatever they want as long as they can somehow say, yeah, it was official. Take any kind of thing. Somebody brought up MK Ultra, right? Let's say the president ordered that. Well, he ordered the government scientists in the military to conduct these experiments. That is an official thing. They were fucking horrific, but yeah, perfectly legal. Bombing Cambodia, no big deal. I mean, every fucked up thing a president has done is now justified as long as he can say, yeah, I was doing that as the president. That was part of my job. Anyway, I do think there needs to be some immunity for the president. I really do. Almost a qualified immunity like they have for like police officers, right? I think qualified immunity needs some restrictions on it. But I do think that things like in this case where Trump is like, no, I really believe that I won. I was doing the right thing by trying to keep the election from being tainted and have the right person inaugurated on the 20th. I think, you know what, guys, you don't have to like him. You don't have to like the outcome of it. You don't have to like the riot. I don't like the riot that fucking happened. I told people, don't do this shit. Nobody ever fucking listens to me. But that doesn't mean that Donald Trump should go to jail for it. So another reason why Congress is supposed to declare war first. Indeed, Faithless, indeed. But remember, as long as it's not an actual war, Congress has pretty much told the president he can bomb whatever the fuck he wants. I do wonder how the founders would feel about some of that shit. I know how a lot of them would feel about that shit. Anyway, it's fine to be happy for Trump here. It really is. But this is a bad decision that is going to be misused. Can you imagine being so vague as saying, as long as it's in the official capacity, and putting that in the fucking hands of politicians and lawyers? I mean, how many you guys watched Barnes with me, right? When we did that segment? Imagine that motherfucker being told, hey, as long as it's in the official capacity. You don't think there's any scenario where he couldn't figure out how it was official capacity? They're professional fucking liars, man. That's what lawyers and politicians are. So, yeah, be happy for Trump here. Give the libs the finger. They did it. It's their fault. They're the ones who pushed this thing. They're the ones who demanded this shit. They're the ones who, well, you know what? Let's let our president talk about it. Now, this is going to be why people are saying the Hatch Act, because he's there in the White House. Is this the East Wing? I don't even remember anymore. Thank you so much, Retro. Will Trump be jailed? Is Biden out? Monkey predictions. Trump will not be jailed actually because of this decision, and I'm not sure how they're trying to justify it. But Trump's lawyers are apparently trying to use this to. Well, I guess the payments did come when he was president, and he was. I don't know. We'll have to see. But he's trying to use it to get around the Bragg thing. The Fannie case is killed. The Fannie case is dead. What was the other case? Oh, the official documents one. That one we'll have to see. But at least two of the cases are dead in the water. The Fani Willis and Jack Smith case on January 6th are basically dead in the water. Is Biden out? Do you mean out of office at the election or out of the race? I don't think at this point, I stand by what I said the other day. It would take something extraordinary to get Biden to leave office. And the fact that he came out and gave this little speech today tells me there's no way he's leaving. This is an egotistical man, a very egotistical man. And he's got an even more egotistical and power hungry wife. The Democrats know Gavin Newsom, we are too far away from the election right now to put in somebody like Gavin Newsom. You get us a couple months closer and maybe Kamala is. I actually had a discussion on Twitter the other day where somebody's like, who would it be? I don't think it'd be Gavin because they'd have to skip over Kamala. And they said this: the female Black community is very, very supportive of each other, and they would totally come out and support her. And I pointed out, like, actually, Black females fucking hate Kamala. She jailed their fathers, brothers, and sons. And she giggled about it. She threw them in prison for long periods of time for something she then lied and bragged about. She goes on to a talk show on Charlemagne's show. I forget what the name of that show is. She goes on there and lies about having smoked pot while listening to Tupac before Tupac was ever even a fucking thing. So she goes out there and lies about it. Do y'all know what Black Twitter is? Y'all should have read Black Twitter at the time. They were fucking pissed. Just fucking pissed. And Kamala is not Black enough to get around that. You're going to have to decide if you're Jamaican and Asian or if you're African American, lady, because the Black community does not like that woman. They just don't. Charlemagne loves her. It's gross. Yeah, it's fucking horrible. This is a woman who bragged about her career as a criminal prosecutor all the way up until Tulsi Gabbard bitch slapped her all across national television, pointing out that she did things like, keep a man on death row even though they had exonerating evidence against him. They had evidence. It was like, yeah, it wasn't this guy. And this bitch was like, no, he needs to die. It's fucking insane. Anyway, this is President Joseph R. Biden, the Tard boy. I just want to point out these two things here for those of you who don't know. You can barely see this one, but you can see the glare off. Those are his teleprompters. This motherfucker can't give a 4-minute speech without a teleprompter. Did you guys hear this story about the other day? He went to a fundraiser where he had a teleprompter. We're not talking a massive rally. No. A private fundraiser. This motherfucker had to have a teleprompter. And a teleprompter. He couldn't just go out there and go, hey, guys, I need your money so I can win. And not only did he have a teleprompter, he fucked up. He apparently was slurring his speech as bad as he did during the debate. So now they have to hide him from fundraisers. Also, did you guys see the Democrats are like, we've raised $33 million since the debate. People loved it. 2/3 of these were from grassroots donors. Yeah, sure they were. Sure they were. Did the teleprompter just say thanks? Oh, wait, there's a great part at the end of this one.
Good evening. The presidency is the most powerful office in the world. It's an office that not only tests your judgment, perhaps even more importantly, it's an office that can test your character.
Can we talk about how orange Joe is here? Oh, for fuck's sake. They got so much shit about how bad he looked the other day. They stuck this motherfucker in a tanning machine. Actually, I don't even think that's from a tanning bed. I think they just, put some spray tan on him. All the jokes about Trump being orange, they're like, well, it works for Trump. Thank you, Ebony. People keep saying we're screwed with the candidates we have. I will genuinely panic if Biden gets reelected. Hope you and your family are well. Thank you so much. Yeah, we're pretty good. Thanks. Oh, and Retro, you when you asked your question earlier, you became a member for month number 12. I'm so sorry I missed that. Thank you for being a member, my friend. Thank you. I'm doing my best here. No, but thank you. And thank you, Ebony, for that. Look, I'm still of the optimistic view that, yeah, things are bad. And if Biden gets to be president again, things will be bad then too, but we can fix them. It's not irreparable. I thought Kamala was Indian. India is technically part of Asia, or at least parts of it are. What was I saying? Oh, we can fix stuff, and it's when we get it in our minds that we can't fix things that things become an issue. Thank you, Alan, who's a member for 7 months. Thank you, my friend. I'm so used to saying 10 with you, I just keep saying 10. Anyway, he's here to lecture us about what it's like to be president and how it tests your moral character. The reason that this case even came about, I just want to remind y'all, is because Biden's DOJ was abusing their power to protect this asshole politically. Now, yeah, this is your fault, Joe. Your character is why this happened, asshole. This bad decision. I am still voting for Trump. I'm going to throw that out there. Before anybody, Trump hates or monkey hates Trump. I'm still voting for Trump. But we would not have this awful fucking decision if it wasn't for your dumb ass. But I do love I also got, this is one of his better speeches that he's given recently. It's only like 3 minutes long because he can't speak longer than that. But when it comes to slurring and stuff, it's one of his best. He still slurs. He slurred when he said American president just a moment ago. Here, y'all want to hear it again? I want you to keep in mind as you listen to this guy, this is the best he can look. This is the best he can work. Oh, and no, Assassin, I'm not voting for a real candidate. I'm voting against what the Democrats did with this lawfare shit.
Good evening. The presidency is the most powerful office in the world. It's an office that not only tests your judgment, perhaps even more importantly, it's an office that can test your character.
That's got to be hard for
Because
you.
you not only face moments when you need the courage to exercise the full power of the presidency.
Thank you so much, Alan. Morning, Monkey. Good morning, sir. I hope you're well.
You also face moments where you need the wisdom to respect the limits of the power of the office of the presidency.
You don't get to talk about wisdom when the other day you suggested women might need an abortion for getting raped by a sister. I don't think wisdom is a word that's even allowed in your vocabulary anymore after that.
This nation was founded on the principle that there are no kings in
This nation was founded on the principle. Jesus Christ, you're the president of the United States. Why do you sound like the town drunk? Oh, yeah. Yeah, because you're demented. Make no mistake, this here, it's not just about the immunity decision. This is about trying to convince you that Joe Biden is okay. That's why he has the new orange glow. It's why he's probably got new butt plugs in his hair. Hair plugs from his butt. Butt plugs is what he was using with Ashley in the shower. That's wrong. That is so wrong. But they're trying to make you look how he doesn't have his mouth just kind of hanging open as he looks like he can't remember his name. Look how presidential he looks. What the hell, Monk? I make no apologies for me, Ebony. I don't know why my brain works this way.
This nation was founded on the principle that there are no kings in America.
Actually, it was founded on the principle of freedom. We were against the monarchy at the time, but it was founded on the principle that there's no kings in this country. Alexander Hamilton, who wanted to be, or who was definitely an influential founder, wanted to call the president Your Highness, and was quite upset when George Washington didn't serve for life. So you can sit there and say we didn't want a king, and that's true because we tied the voting and stuff into it. But most of the founders just kind of accepted that Washington was going to be president until he died. He was going to be a king, basically. So I knocked that nonsense off. He was a king that could get voted out. It was Washington who set the precedent of the 8 years rather than any law. That law doesn't come along until the 50s that it's finally passed, where we have the amendment that changes it to 2 terms. I want to say it's then. But it was in direct relation to Roosevelt running 4 fucking times and winning.
Each of us is equal before the law. No one is above the law.
That must have been an interesting conversation you had with your son this weekend at Camp David. Do you think he sat Hunter down this weekend with like, hey, no one's above the law. You need to go to jail for not paying your taxes the same way that Al Capone did? I'm betting not. It's amazing when people decide nobody's above the law or not. It seems to be very fucking self-serving in politics.
Not even the President of the United States.
President of the United States.
Today's Supreme Court decision on presidential immunity,
he can't even say presidential. Presidential. Oh, God damn it. This is our president. And this is the best he can look. They have him so fucking drugged right now, he doesn't even know where he is. He's out of it for a completely different reason. He's seeing pink elephants all over that fucking room.
Today's Supreme Court decision on presidential immunity, that fundamentally changed.
True.
For all practical purposes, today's decision almost certainly means that there are virtually no limits on what a president can do.
Again, that's not true. That's not true. When they're sending it back to what can arguably be easily shown to be a presidential responsibility because he was talking to somebody from one of the states instead of his own cabinet, you're exaggerating there, Joe. Could it have that issue down the line? Sure, especially with Democrats being a thing. But can we not? Yes, it has that potential. But because of people like you, Joe. Thank you, Keldrick. I believe Biden got grassroots support. After all, they had to clear all those roots off of the coffins for his base. True. True. The mouth movements look strange. It's because he is okay. You guys have heard me when I get a little tipsy on stream, right? When I start to get a little drunk, you can hear my mouth movements because I'm trying so hard to pronounce the words without slurring that I end up over pronouncing things. And if you saw my lips, it would be doing the same thing. He is trying desperately not to slur here. And when people do that, it becomes very noticeable. Cheap fake mouth movements.
This is a fundamentally new principle, and it's a dangerous precedent.
I agree, because
the power of the office will no longer be constrained by the law, even including the Supreme Court of the United States.
Your boss murdered an American, homie, without due process. That man was not allowed to go into a court of law and argue his case. Your boss blew his ass up. Your friend Billy Boy killed a whole bunch of civilians in an aspirin factory to try to change the fucking headlines because he got his weenie sucked. And you're going to sit here and tell me about how they're no longer bound by law? Really? Guys, every fucking president that I can think of, that I know enough about, has done some shit that you and I would never get away with. That if you and I were brought up on some similar charges, no matter how we tried to spin it, they'd be like, yeah, fuck you, you're going to prison. But he's going to stand here and literally, your boss got away with murder, motherfucker. They're no longer. This means that a president can give a speech, and then if a riot breaks out, we can't pretend that he did it. You're a fucking asshole, man.
The only limits will be self-imposed by the president alone. This decision today has continued the court's attack in recent years on a wide range of long-established legal principles in our nation.
Oh, fuck off. James, thank you. My wife was an actress. That's exactly what she told me. To sound drunk, you don't slur your words. You try too hard to pronounce them. Yes, exactly. Because that's what drunks do, is they're trying really hard to pronounce words correctly. I'm not drunk. I'm not a drunk, but I have been drunk. And yeah. Three things happen when I drink a lot. I do that, the whole slurry thing. I get really loud. I talk very loud when I'm drunk. And nothing is not funny to me, except a man literally dying in front of me. That one did sober me up for just a minute. But everything else is the funniest shit I've ever heard. That's why there's a 2-drink minimum at comedy clubs, because everything's funnier when you're drinking. Until it's not.
From gutting voting rights and civil rights to taking away a woman's right to choose.
All right, let's talk gutting voting rights and civil rights. Okay, let's talk about the voting rights for a minute. The Democrats are very, very upset still that the Supreme Court said, yes, that thing that the Constitution says, where states get to decide how elections are done. Yeah, we're going to do that, and we're no longer going to be having it, a special counsel looking over the state's shoulders to make sure they're not racist. Literally, they just turned democracy, you know what these guys love, back over to the states where it belongs. The very thing that these guys argued allowed them to change election laws without doing it legally, because it's up to the states. When it comes to the state voting rights, oh, no, not Alabama. Alabama, they don't get to do that because they tend to be too red. So we're going to pretend that they're still the most racist people ever so that we can have control over their voting. It's absolutely disgusting. It really is. I'm not exactly sure which civil rights he's talking about that got overturned. Can somebody point me to one of the Supreme Court cases in the last 5-10 years, they were like, yeah, we're going to roll back civil rights. They've gone too far, in my opinion.
To today's decision that undermines the rule of law of this nation.
I am shocked he didn't specifically mention abortion. Maybe that's what he was talking about with civil rights, which, by the way, civil rights, not an abortion issue. Or abortion, not a civil rights issue. They're not turning back long established precedent in this ruling. There's never been a ruling like this. There's never had to be a ruling like this because we didn't prosecute ex-presidents for shit they did while they were in office. The break from precedent here is what the Democrats did. That's why, oh, he said right to choose? Okay, I missed that, Frosted. Thank you. I blame the Democrats for this. It is a horrible decision because they did. I actually agree with them with it going too far. But the reason it happened is because your bitch ass broke what is traditional because you wanted to beat your opponent without having to beat him and punish him for daring to keep that fucking shrew Hillary Clinton out of office. It was her turn, damn it. We had all of California say so. Fuck you. You did this. You're goddamn just. This is literally based on the Jack Smith case. This literally comes from the DOJ doing it. This isn't like he was challenging the Fani Willis one. This is because of you. Long established precedent. There's no fucking precedent here. The norm that was broken, you guys did. You forced the court to come in here and go, yeah, we kind of got to let the president do some stuff without holding him specifically accountable if he makes what is later determined to be a mistake. Because without something like this, they could absolutely do that. It's just that nobody's had the fucking balls to do it before because it's asinine. Because except in our modern climate and maybe during the Civil War, Americans wouldn't put up with this shit. We'd be like, no, that's political prosecution. What the fuck are you doing? But you guys have so tainted the goddamn system. And now you motherfuckers are again attacking the courts. And then you know what they're going to do? They're going to come out and go, trust in the courts is at an all-time low. Well, why the fuck is that? It's because every fucking decision they come out with that you don't like, which tends to be all of them these days, even when they're on your side, you motherfuckers have to come out and go, Justice Alito had a flag at his house. Justice Thomas, I mean, he's been pretty consistent his whole time in the court, but he's only ruling the way he is now because of money. The Democrats have been out there vilifying the court. Before Roe gets overturned in the Dobbs case, we had a discussion about Roe here. We've had several, but me and Prospero had a long discussion about what was wrong with Roe. Did you hear me say the court were horrible fucking people that needed to be shot or that we needed to take and have 45 more people on there so that I get my fucking way? No, because that's not how we do it. Because if you do shit like that, you're just undermining the court and then there's no reason for them anymore. Then we literally have no check on your power, dick. Fuck. You're the ones doing this. And they will. I guarantee you. We're going to see the trust in the court is at an all-time low after this decision. Because that's what they're doing. It's what he's trying to do. These assholes, when they come out there and tell you, yeah, when I was criticized, they were sending people to try to hurt me. Because that's what they do. If you think that criticizing somebody is going to cause them to be attacked by people, specifically, violently, physically attacked, and you go out there and criticize people, you're telling your audience to go kill people, to go maim people, to go hurt people. That's how your brain thinks that if there's criticism, it's going to happen. I'm not the one that thinks that. I believe you should be able to criticize people. And if some fucking loon loses their mind and does something horrible, it's not your fault. You're the guys who say, Donald Trump gave a speech that day. And even though he said be peaceful, it was clearly an indication that they should go punch cops in the head. It's so fucking backwards. Democrats are the most horrible fucking people that I can think of in America. And yes, I'm including pedophiles in that because they're all pedophiles too.
Nearly 4 years
Democrats kind of a catch-all for shitbag.
ago, my predecessor sent a violent mob to the U.S. Capitol
No, he didn't.
to stop the peaceful transfer of power.
No, he didn't.
We also
No, he didn't. No, he didn't. No, he didn't. He sent them to go peacefully protest at the designated protest spot, you fucking asshole. Find me one clip of Trump saying, go violently attack. I dare you. He's about to say we all saw it, which is going to send me into another rage about this.
to the U.S. Capitol to stop the peaceful transfer of power. We all saw it with our own eyes.
No, we didn't. No, we didn't. Hell, half the people think that they were setting fires in the Capitol because of that one AP picture where they darkened the sky and highlighted a flashbang that came from the fucking police. There were no fires in the Capitol that day. Sure as fuck looks like there was, though. We all saw it with our own eyes. This is why they used the Hollywood producer to make their little January 6th committee, because they know people are swayed by their eyes. There was a very interesting thing that happened in American history where if you were watching the Kennedy-Nixon debate, you were more likely to think Kennedy won than if you were just listening to it on the radio. And that was a very powerful moment in American politics because Nixon sounded better than he looked. That's not to say that people thought he won. There's still some disagreements on the polls there, but it is clear that the people who watched on TV thought Nixon did much worse than the people who listened on the radio. And it was a very telling moment. And ever since then, it's all about the optics. This is why we talk optics so often, because optics matter. And when you can show people, like, look, you guys all saw it with your own eyes. Oh, you're right, we did. There were people there. Meanwhile, you have like CNN and MSNBC at different times standing in front of buildings that are on fire because of arson, telling us that they're mostly peaceful protests. That's been mostly peaceful around. Pay no attention to that arson fire in the back. Yeah, that's actually from lightning. Purely coincidental, because they understand the power of media. And if you're just watching somebody, a lot of people don't even pay attention to the background. They're watching the asshole talking. Media, and they know it. They know it. That's why they're attacking SCOTUS right now. Again, I disagree with this decision. I think they went too far. But did you guys hear me say, well, we got to do is get rid of the court? No. Because that's the wrong answer.
We sat there and watched it happen that day.
No, we didn't.
Attack on the police, the ransacking of the Capitol, a mob.
The ransacking of the Capitol? You mean some papers thrown on the floor? Is that the ransacking you're talking about? Them taking the podium and moving it? Do you know what ransack means? Literally, all they had to do was sweep. Fuck. But if you remember the January 6th testimony, you had that one congressman. I had to get in there and help them clean this up. So you picked up some empty water bottles? I hope you didn't strain yourself, Congressman.
Literally hunting down the House Speaker, Nancy Pelosi. Gallows.
Literally hunting down Nancy Pelosi. Okay. All right. Let's go with that, Joe. Just for a minute. Literally hunting down Nancy Pelosi. Yes, there were some people walking around the Capitol that day. Where's Nancy Pelosi? Bring us Nancy Pelosi. All right. How many people were there? Anybody know? It's estimated. I've seen estimations from 1,000 to 2,000 people. Let's split the difference and say 1,500. How many police officers were there? A couple hundred max, and that's if you count the FBI who's weren't there but were. Maybe a couple hundred. How many shots were fired? 1. Do you think if they really wanted to go get Nancy Pelosi, they couldn't have done it? Literally hunting her down. They put up a salt lick. No, it's Nancy, so it can't be salt. They put up a saffron lick. She's far too elegant for common salt.
Was erected to hang the Vice President, Mike Pence.
Oh, Jesus Christ. For the record, if you guys have seen pictures of this thing, the gallows that they put up, you couldn't actually hang anybody. It wasn't tall enough to hang anybody. Hey, Joe, what about the guillotines that were at all the Antifa riots? We got to mention those? No. Yeah. Guillotines at work, by the way, they demonstrated them on teddy bears.
I think it's fair to say it's one of the darkest days in the history of America. Now the man who sent that mob to the U.S. Capitol is facing potential criminal conviction.
Not anymore. Not anymore. Way to go, Joe. You just gave him absolute immunity, you dumb fuck.
What happened that day? And the American people deserve to have an answer in the courts before the upcoming election.
What? Stop. Wait a minute. Let's hear that again.
The American people deserve to have an answer in the courts before the upcoming election.
Why? What do I need from the courts there, Joe? See, this is the problem. They can't help but tell on themselves. He doesn't care that this immunity thing happened. He actually likes it because it's going to cover his ass for shit he's done while he's in office. He doesn't give a shit about this ruling. He likes this ruling. He doesn't like that this means it's got to go back to the court and be adjudicated longer. And therefore, they won't get an answer before Election Day. Remember, Jack Smith was pushing speedy trial. The Constitution says speedy trial. Yeah, but that's a right of the defendant, and he can waive it. Speedy trial. Speedy trial. The whole speedy trial thing was bullshit. It was just so that they could go, look, he's a felon. Assassin of the Great, thank you. I did witness a coup d'etat on January 6th, committed by the Socialist Democrats. Fair enough. But this guy does not give a shit about this ruling. He's fine with this ruling. He'll be dead long before he can be impeached, tried, and convicted. Well, here's the thing. Impeachment, it says in there that being impeached and found guilty in the Senate doesn't preclude you from any criminal liability. And it still says that, but this ruling still overrides that. Because if it was in an official capacity, you still can't be held liable because of this fucking rule. It's a mess.
The public has a right to know the answer about what happened on January 6th.
Then why did we have to twist your fucking arm to get the tapes? And even then, you guys wouldn't do it. The House had to. The public has a right to know what happened. Okay, raise your hand if you have no idea what happened on January 6th, 2021. Or 2021. Make sure I get the right thing. At the Capitol. Anybody? The public has a right to know. Let's see. You guys had primetime hearings on this. It was all over the fucking news for 3 goddamn years. The public has a right to know. We do know, Joe. We know you tried using the fucking court system to get a political opponent. How about we talk about that?
Before they asked to vote again this year. Now, because of today's decision, that is highly, highly unlikely.
Well, no, Joe. Actually, because of today's decision, they have the answer. They have the answer. Even if what you said is true, it's not a big deal. You just don't like that answer. The Supreme Court didn't come out and go, we don't fucking know. We don't fucking know, and you're not allowed to ask. That's not what they said. They gave you an answer. You didn't do anything wrong. At least except maybe calling Kemp. But the other things did nothing wrong. They have their answer. The American people deserve a different answer. Be honest, you fucking old shitbag.
It's a terrible disservice to the people of this nation.
Again, I don't like the ruling, but the terrible disservice here was you. That cannot be stated enough, guys. None of what happened today, none of what he's pissed off about wouldn't have happened except for his actions. He's the one that sent Garland after Trump. That's on him.
So now the American people have to do what the courts should have been willing to do, but will not. The American people have to render a judgment about Donald Trump's behavior.
25% of people in a recent poll said this man is unfit for office. This man on the screen, not Trump. Unfit for office, not because of any corruption, but because he's clearly not all there. That's why he's giving this kind of speech right now. I call it a kind of speech because they're not his words and he's slurring through them. And granted, it's a much slighter slur than normal. His stutter is under control tonight.
The American people must decide whether Donald Trump's assault on our democracy on January 6th makes him unfit for public office in the high.
See the word unfit there? Let's rewind that. There's a reason I brought up being unfit for president.
On our democracy on January 6th makes him unfit for public office in the.
All public office or just this one, Joe? Anybody out there going, damn it, January 6th means Donald Trump can't be mayor.
The highest office in the land. The American people must decide if Trump's embrace of violence to preserve his power is acceptable.
Now, this is the part that people are saying is a violation of the Hatch Act, because for anybody else, it absolutely would be. This is how you know this has nothing to do with his real feelings and it's just political for him, because everything he just said is about the election. He didn't say the American people deserve justice. He didn't say the American people deserve to have their laws respected. No. The American people need to know Trump's a shitbag before they vote. Just be honest about it, Joe. At least I'd respect you a little bit, you dirty bastard.
Perhaps most importantly,
the
American people must decide they want to entrust the president once again, the presidency, to Donald Trump, now knowing he'll be even more emboldened to do whatever he pleases whenever he wants to do it.
Well, doesn't that same hold true for you, that you're more emboldened? You are president, right? This does affect you. You have quite famously bragged about getting around the Supreme Court to still do what you want to do. You went around the Supreme Court to forgive college student loan debt. I guess that's not the kind of law violations we should be worried about, right? No? Yeah. That's a little inconvenient to talk about.
You know, at the outset of our nation, it was the character of George Washington, our first president, to find the presidency. He believed power was limited, not absolute. And that power always resides with the people. Always.
I don't know if you know about George Washington. I'm sure you guys were friends, but you know he owned slaves that weren't allowed to vote, right? I hate to bring up the Democrat argument there, but if you're going to invoke Washington like that, sorry, that's where I happen to go. That's about the vote. This is a political speech, and you invoking Washington. Washington knew to step down and not keep going when he wasn't able to. Washington's like, I'm too old for this shit. We're gonna stop this and let somebody else take the reins. I don't know why I'm bringing that up.
Now
real quick over on the Streamlabs. Let me get this before we go back to Drooly Joe here. This motherfucker. Frosted, thank you so much. If I'm going to call an event the darkest day in American history, I'd have to make sure it had a higher body count than Alec Baldwin's first, or than Alec Baldwin first. Also, a line from It's Always Sunny sums up my response to Joe. That's politics, bitch. I fucking love that episode, especially the end.
200 years later, today's Supreme Court decision, once again, it'll depend on the character of the men and women who hold that presidency that are going to define the limits of the power of the presidency.
Oh, we're fucked because you're president. You who besmirch dead men for political gain. You who got so pissed off at a guy just asking you a random question that you completely made up your entire academic history. You who, when a woman asked you a question, called her a dog-faced pony soldier. She wasn't even really challenging you. You who looked at them, hey, fat. And that's not even getting into, you using your office to enrich yourself and your family. How you suddenly became a multi-millionaire after you left office, even though there's no explanation for it. Thank you, Keldrig. Biden is a Democrat. He approves of slavery. That's true. That is true.
Because the law will no longer do it.
Bruh, you bragged about going around the Supreme Court. You bragged about it. The law won't hold him into account. Your predecessor, your Democratic predecessor, as president, your boss. Bro, I just need a pen and a phone. I don't need no fucking law. That motherfucker sold illegal guns to drug cartels that got Americans killed. The only American who got killed on January 6th was shot by somebody who works for you. Jesus fucking Christ.
I know I will respect the limits.
Do you think they'll change the no pre-made notes rule for the next debate? Joe, excuse me, I'm so sorry. Joe lost when he has to improvise. No, because I don't think the notes will help him. The teleprompter doesn't help him. So, I mean, I don't think Trump would agree to a rule change at this point. There's nothing in Trump's interest to do that. It's in Trump's best interest to insist it's exactly like last time. I do think Joe Biden might come out with one of those little things quarterbacks have on their forearm where they can flip it up to see the next play. And he's going to be peeking at his wrist. It's going to be built into his suit. We're going to hear Velcro all night long.
Presidential powers I have for 3.5 years. But any president, including Donald Trump, will now be free to ignore the law.
I just feel compelled to one more time point out he bragged about going around the Supreme Court.
I concur with Justice Sotomayor's dissent today.
Sotomayor. Oh my God. Sotomayor, you fucking retard. Oh, I slurred. That is racist, Joe. You need to pronounce her name properly, or it's racist. Sotomayor. Oh my God.
I concur with Justice Sotomayor's dissent today. Here's what she said. She said, in every use of official power,
wait for it,
the president is now a king above the law. With fear for our democracy, I dissent. End of quote.
He wasn't supposed to read out the end of quote part. Notice he didn't start it with quote. Oh, fuck.
So should the American people dissent. I dissent. May God bless you all, and may God help preserve our democracy. Thank you. May God protect our troops.
And may God protect our troops. He did it there right at the end. Got to get that democracy thing in there. because that's the most important thing. You guys want to watch him shuffle out?
Democrats, why are you the best Democrat to beat Trump?
What makes you so confident you should be the president?
I don't know if you guys caught that question right there at the end. Somebody yelled, "What makes you so confident you should be president?" I don't know who it was, but that's funny. It's also funny the press thought that they were going to let Joe take a fucking question here. Ain't no fucking way he was going to be allowed to say anything that wasn't being shown onto him. This glass and that glass. Uneven slurred that some, which is wonderful. That's the president of the United States bitching that he got his way. Hey, you guys wanted this to go all the way to the court. I'm not done with Biden, though, because we have to go back. This is from the day after or the second day after the debate. I forget the date on it now, but we have to talk about it. This is Joe Biden from the other day. This is where they first trot him out. Look, they've already started to darken up his skin here. He's got more of a tan look going on here. They put this pruned old bastard out in the sun. They probably just shoved him in the oven, honestly. But they're remaking his image after that horrific showing in the debate. And they put out this is only 38 seconds long.
Democracy is the essence of who we are. We're the most unique nation in the world in that we're not united based on race, ethnicity.
We're 7 seconds in and he's already fucked up. And we've already had like 3 jump cuts. Here, watch.
Democracy is the essence of who we are. We're the most unique nation in the world in that we're not united based on race.
Okay, I'm sorry. There were 2 jump cuts already. And 7 seconds in, he's already fucking up. He's slurring so bad that they left him fucking that part up in a video that's got like 15 jump cuts in it. That's already had 2. That has already had 2. And he was so bad as they were filming this, to prove that he's cogent, that he's not incoherent, that he still has his mental capacities, that they are like, fuck it, just leave that part in. Nobody will notice.
Ethnicity, geography, we're based on idea. We hold these truths to be self-evident, that all women and men are created equal. It's in our Declaration of Independence, in our Constitution.
Is that in our Constitution? I mean, we eventually got around to it. I suppose the 14th Amendment counts, but all men and women are created equal wasn't part of the original document, and I don't think it's stated that way even in the amendments.
They're the 2 things that are the guardrails to make sure democracy is able to be sustained. It's all about being able to show up and vote, be able to have an opportunity to get a fair deal, get an even chance. It all rests upon our Constitution, and democracy is the vehicle and the method that holds that together.
Democracy is not the vehicle that holds our Constitution together. Actually, it's contrary to our Constitution. But whatever. Yeah, so there it is. That's them proving that the president is okay for prime time, y'all. How is this the real world? How is this the world we live in? Jump cut. I made the joke about Phil DeFranco the other day with the debate, and apparently I was wrong. That's the White House is now employing Phil's old team with jump cuts every 10 freaking frames. It's not even 10 seconds. It's every 10 frames. Now we got to look at this was on Comedy Central, apparently. Our vice president trying to show that she's just like you and me, girl. Yeah, girl, I'm out here in these streets. One, don't pull the yeah, girl thing. That was AOC levels of no, I'm totally hood. It just sounded bad. You out there in them streets, is you? What? You're when I first watched this, the only thing I could think is you can take the hoe out the streets, but not the street out the hoe. And I probably shouldn't put that one on Twitter. But what? You aren't out there in the streets. You're not even like, they hide you as much as Obama hid Biden. That's how embarrassing you are to people. Comedy Central clip, but no discernible joke. I also see hashtag BET Awards up there. So was this shown at like the BET Awards? I haven't watched BET since I was like 16, and that was the best way to see rap videos at the time. I haven't paid any attention to BET really. But forgot, I'm out here I'm out here in these streets. You know how it is. I expect her to break out talking about eating cornbread. I'm just like you. No, you're not. Gus. She pulled out a day. They not like us, girl. They not like us, girl. Like when I was smoking that pot, listening to Tupac when Tupac was 14. Jesus Christ. There are few things more embarrassing than an elite trying to pretend that they are just a normal person like the rest of us. You're a Democrat. You'll like this word. You live a very privileged life. You do not run around going, they doing that, girl. Stop it. Be authentic. Fuck. Be real authentic. Get down on your knees and suck some.
They not. There's a full-on attack on our fundamental freedoms. The freedom to vote.
Yep.
There is no fundamental attack on the freedom to vote. That is a fucking lie. But at least she used proper English to tell her lie.
The freedom to love who you love. The freedom to be safe from gun violence.
The freedom to love who you love. Are we talking in the Joe showering with Ashley kind of way? Because I'm be honest with you, I'm not okay with that kind of love who you love bullshit. I'm really not. How do you do, fellow blacks? Yes, that's exactly what this is, Keldrick. Somebody actually did that as a meme in response to this. I don't remember if it said fellow blacks or how they stated the bottom part, but they put her picture over Steve Buscemi's in that famous scene. I still don't even know what that scene is from. I've seen it a billion times and never looked up where it came from. Anyway.
Violence, the freedom for a woman to make decisions about her own body, not having her government tell her what to do.
Like getting a shot she doesn't want. Oh, no, not that. What about smoking crack? They love that body argument until you bring it up in relation to anything else. It's my body, my choice. So you support prostitution. Hell no. You're for cocaine and meth use, right? No. So it's only her body, her choice when there's literally another body growing in there. That's the only time that matters. Sure, why not? Yeah, we're just running around impregnating all the ladies because that's what we do, man. The Republicans are out there pushing a law that all women have to get pregnant whenever a man tells them to, because you guys have no say in your body anymore. You don't get no say, girl. They out there trying to take your freedom. Kamala, do you have any goddamn idea how ridiculously insulting you being a black caricature is when that's not who you are? It's one thing from somebody who did grow up in the hood, who speaks that way on a normal basis doing it. I would hope they get, a little bit more educated. That whole nonsense, Ebonics is just their culture, stupid. But for somebody who has lived such a privileged life, who has sucked so many powerful dicks, to be out there pretending that you're street like that, that's just, it's insulting. It makes it seem like that's how you think all black, you do know not all black people speak that way. Many speak in perfectly good English. Ask Joe. He mentioned how articulate Barack was. Thank you, Snubber. They support prostitution. It's fancy now. It's sex work, and it's perfectly normal. They just won't do it themselves. No, there's still a big argument in the feminist arenas between whether or not prostitution should be legal. Very, very liberal women are like, no, because it exploits the women. It really makes their heads hurt because they're torn between her body, her choice, and exploitating, and they're not real sure which way they want to go. Plus, if we're being honest, the more hookers there are, the more likely there is that there's going to be abortion. So it's a win-win for them if they do support abortion or prostitution. Just saying. Look, I've always been of the opinion, okay, since I've been old enough to put any thought into it, I've always been in the opinion that I think prostitution's gross, but I don't think it should be illegal. It literally is your body. It is I do not understand why it's illegal. It makes zero sense to me. It's never something that I would do, and it's not something I want anybody in my family to participate in. But if some chick wants to take money and dick, I don't care. But it is funny to me that my body, my choice doesn't come up from liberals or prostitution doesn't come up when they're talking about my body, my choice. And a lot of it is because feminists absolutely control the Democratic Party, and they have for decades now. Prostitution is illegal because politicians have wives. That's the real reason. That's the real reason that prostitution's outlawed. If there weren't wives, there would be no prohibitions on prostitution. I will stand by that statement forever. Anyway, this is what it was. It wasn't hello, fellow black people. I found the meme I was talking about because it's funny as shit. They went a slightly different way. How do you do, fellow birthing people? It's amazing that, with all these restrictions that Kamala never had a kid. The Republicans out there forcing all you women to get pregnant and have babies. Somehow she slipped through. Maybe it's because most of us like, don't dump a real load in her because you don't know whose baby that is. It's going to be like Daishiki. Now, kids, what do you say when you meet a nice man? Are you my daddy? I fucking love that movie. I haven't watched it in so long. I need to bring it up. I wanted to bring this one up because it just fucking pissed me off. And that's mostly what I do around here. She swallowed all of hers. We have no proof that she swallows. Okay. The fellow kids meme is from 30 Rock. Okay. Pride is always special to me. As an openly LGBTQ teacher and union leader married to an amazing spiritual leader, I know how important it is for us to show up. And today, New York City did that. Yes, ladies and gentlemen, Pride Month is over. We only have to go another day before we have to hear about the plight of the LGBTQRSPUV. But this happened right before the end there. And what really pissed me off is this line right there. As an openly LGBTQ teacher. This is a true story. We had it was when I was in 6th, 7th, and 8th grade. Part of 6th and all of 7th and 8th, because I was in a military family, so we moved a lot. But in that school, there was a PE teacher. Almost all of us had conversations about how gay he was. Almost every day, if you saw him, we would giggle to each other. That dude is so fucking gay. You know what we never did? Get confirmation from the teacher. Not once did he come in wearing a mesh shirt with his pierced nipples and green, blue, red, and pink hair with a flag draped over him and go, "Hello, children. I want to tell you about how gay I am." we based it on his mannerisms. It's not like he was touching kids because he wasn't a modern teacher. But why? Why do so many of these guys? This is an old lady. This is a really fucking old lady. It's this chick down here. Why do your kids need to know you're gay? Why is that part of the curriculum? How the fuck are you openly LGBTQ teacher? Ah, Jesus fucking Christ, man. The only way we ever even knew that our teachers were married is if it said Mrs. Smith. Or if they got married during the school year and they had to explain to us that their last name was changing. Dark Resurrect, thank you for that feminist $12. There's only one reason I can think of for a teacher to be openly LGBTQ. Only one. Indeed. Indeed. Your kids are not there to affirm you, and they're certainly not there for your fucking dating pool. They're your students. They're your charges. You're supposed to be teaching them math, science, reading, history, for fuck's sake. And instead, you're like, do you realize how gay I am? I'm gay. I'm openly gay. Jesus Christ, that's not some shit you need to be talking about. Your kids, okay. This is a throwback. Some of you are not going to recognize the face on the screen, and some of you are going to be like, I thought he was dead. And I feel comfortable saying that second part because many people in the comments did when I put this on Twitter. Yes, it's old Butthole Lips himself. It is old Butthole Lips himself, Steve Shives. And, well, he's got some thoughts on the debate. I will give more of my thoughts as we go on. I just want to say at the outset, I believe he believes this. Honestly, what he's about to say, I have no doubt in his addled mind, he believes every word he's about to say. I just don't understand how.
There's nothing about that debate last night that makes me worried about Joe Biden's capacity to do his job as president for the.
Him suggesting women can get each other pregnant didn't worry you at all. Him literally shutting down twice. Him beating Medicaid. Sorry, Medicare, not Medicaid. Do we even have Medicaid anymore? Beating Medicare, none of that in your mind. See, I believe he believes it, because this is what I was talking about with that one person who's like, I saw one man who was a liar and another man who was trying his best to get out there and push the truth, and he was being bullied. Maybe it was just women who see that. Well, Steve's here certainly adds some credence to that theory that it's just women who see it that way. But how could you watch that? How could you watch that and not have at least a question? If these people, if they are not lying, they're literally mentally challenged. They're that brainwashed. They are that indoctrinated. They're that cultish. And I hate using the word cult now because the left has tried to take that. You're just in the Donald Trump. Do you know how many times I've been told I'm just in a cult in the last month because I dare question anything a Democrat says? It doesn't matter what it is. It could be, well, one time it was Brian, not Stelter, the other one, Krasenstein, that fucking asshole, who said something really stupid, and I just pointed it out, and it was like, oh, you're just in that Trump cult. But anyway, it's cultish behavior. It wouldn't matter. He could have had a massive stroke. He could have had blood coming out of his eyes and ears, and they would have been like, I don't see a problem with Biden. He seems perfectly fine to me. Because they're not actually watching Biden. They're seeing what they want to see.
Rest of this term or for the following term, should he win re-election. I've seen.
Wait. I could kind of go like, okay, there's only 4 months left till the election. There's only six and a half months until the next term. So maybe you think he could squeak it out but another 4 years on top of that? Another 4 years? Thank you, Dangerous. Got here late, so maybe this has been said. If Democrats would stop trying to pursue stupid legal cases, SCOTUS wouldn't have to keep slapping them down. One sentence in, and butthole lips is stupid. Yeah. Both of those things are true. SCOTUS still fucked up on their decision. But yeah, the Democrats absolutely. It's their fault. Look, that old man that was on the stage that night, I think he could do four more years standing on his head. Of course, there'd be poop going down his back at the time, but still.
People on Twitter and various other social media platforms this morning, and I'm talking about people on our side, Democrats, progressives, etc., not Republicans trying to do a victory lap or trying to twist the knife. People on our side who are not only panicking politically, not only saying, well, Biden should step down and be replaced on the ticket for political reasons because they're worried that he might not be able to win election. That's a different matter. They're saying that he should step down because the debate demonstrates that he's not fit to serve as president right now.
Yeah, Steve, they're right. They're saying, you know what? I want to have a little integrity, and there's no way I can justify what I saw there. Don't worry. They'll all come around to justifying it eventually because that's tribal politics these days. But yeah, Steve, unlike you, they have an ounce of credibility. They don't want to be known as just a lying douchebag.
That's ridiculous.
Why? Well, there you go. It's ridiculous. Nothing to show. Look, here's why I think he's still fit to serve, because yeah, that's all I have. I can't. Why would you do that? Look, he's perfectly fine because I said so. I really want to show this next part. It's from a there were some clashes this last weekend, the final part of Pride, right? So everybody was having their marches, and you had some nudists and gay people that were at odds with the pro-Palestinian movements that were going on. And there's these 3 fat naked guys who walk through a pro-Palestinian protest. I don't trust YouTube enough, even though it's blurred out. I've seen too many people get hit on blurred out video games to feel comfortable showing it on the stream. But it reminded me, I've never seen a nudist that didn't look like they were just trying to force their nudity on everybody else because they couldn't convince somebody to look at them naked. And that's every time I've seen a nudist, I'm like, you should really have some clothes on. Every time. It's never, people in shape. I don't want to see penis at all. So men should always have at least tidy whities on. At least a banana hammock, fellas. But they're not even in shape. Not even women want to look at it. It's like, and on the women's side, sure, their titties are smaller than the naked guys, but they're still usually, just be honest, if they ate as much cottage cheese as they have on their body, they'd have less cottage cheese in both instances. Anyhow, moving along. This is CNN. It's part of their freak out. We didn't get to do a good freak out compilation after the debate. I've had just a rough couple of days. I apologize, guys. So we got to do some makeup work here.
Do we have new poll numbers for President Biden post-debate?
We do. CBS News YouGov conducted some polling post-debate. We can compare it to the pre-debate numbers. And the bottom line.
Remember, pre-debate, we were being told that Biden had caught up to Trump and it was 50-50. It was actually 50-48 with Biden in the lead. That was right before the debate. But this is specifically about the president's mental health.
It's not any good. It's not any good. Look at this. Voters who say that Biden has the mental health to be president. It was just 35% pre-debate. Look where it's dropped to now post-debate.
All right. This is important because this is why we saw the stuff about cheap fakes. Has Corinne Jean-Pierre used that again? Or did she get mocked enough that she shut the fuck up? Frosted, thank you. In the Mel Brooks movie Dracula Dead and Loving It, Dracula gets turned to dust by the sun. Renfield, his brainwashed slave, scoops the dust into a pile and draws a smiley face in it saying, "You look like your old self again." That's the Biden apologist. Yes. Did Mel Brooks do Dead and Loving It? I didn't realize that was his movie. I have not watched the whole thing. I don't know if I've watched much of any of it. But anyway, before the debate, guys, before the debate, 35% said he had the mental health to be president. And this is coming from the same time where we're told Biden's winning. Biden's winning. Thank you, Dangerous. Yes, Steve, choosing who you put up as your president. Sorry, I will read this. I promise. I'm not Biden. I just have trouble reading as I'm speaking. Yes, Steve, choosing who you put up as your presidential candidate is political. By the way, Joe's eyes did start bleeding in a 2020 debate. Also, the party of vote blue no matter who, calling others a cult. Yes, they do that. Absolutely, they do that. So yeah, we have 35% said that he had the mental health to be president, and 37% said he had the mental health for running for president. I guess that makes sense that more people thought he had the health to run for president because running for president is easier than being president, I suppose. But still, this is the majority of people saying he shouldn't be president. But don't worry, he totally was catching Trump in the polls. Now, after the debate, that's where we get to the number that has these people scared to death.
27%. How about that he should be running for president? It was 37% pre-debate. It's now 28%. I have never seen numbers this bad for an incumbent president during my lifetime. I mean, that mental health to be president, just 27%. You might say, okay, that's low, but a lot of people thought Biden was too old back in 2020. These numbers look nothing like this back in 2020. These numbers were bad already. And the truth is, Allison, they have gotten just considerably worse, even in just a few days after that first presidential debate.
Yeah. They're so bad you're down to 27%. You are literally talking about only Democrats. There's like no independents in that. If there's independents or even Republicans who are saying, yeah, he's probably still mentally okay to be president, it's such a negligible number, not even to be statistically relevant. It's literally just the diehard Democrats. And you know what? Even with that number, he still has a very good chance of being reelected. I know nobody wants to hear that. Because after what we saw the other day, this should be a landslide. Nobody should be voting for Joe. If you're voting for Joe at this point, I can only assume you do not give a shit about America or issues or politics at all. You are just a vote blue no matter who. That literally Hitler could be on your team and you'd be like, hey, he's running as a Democrat, I'm voting for him. And at that point, your opinion doesn't fucking matter to me. It doesn't. I'm happy to argue with you, but you're a retard who shouldn't have a vote. You're proof that democracy is a failure. That's just the reality of it. Anyhow, what else do we have tonight? Yeah, those numbers are horrible, and they really are. They are panicking the Democrats. And for good reason. For good reason. Because they can sit here and tell us what the polls say all day long. And then when we see Joe again, yeah, I wanted to show you guys this. Let me bring this up and find it. Just any good clip out of here will do. Oh, here we go. Somebody told me, no, it's just Joe's stutter. It's always been there if you paid attention. It's weird how nobody talked about it until people started going, that motherfucker seems like he's in cognitive decline. There's a story from like 2008 where they mentioned it. 2015 is where they really start pushing it, which should give you a clue on how long he's been dealing with dementia. But it really kicks off in the 2020 campaign where a whole bunch of us were going, that dude doesn't look right. Did you hear that AOC is trying to impeach the justices? No, but we'll look it up right after this. All right, so this is from the vice presidential debate. What is this? 2008, where Palin was on the ticket with the Maverick. That was 8, right? Or is that 12? Whichever.
Giving virtually nothing to the middle class. We have a different value set. The middle class is the economic engine. It's fair. They deserve the tax breaks, not the super wealthy are doing pretty well. They don't need any more tax breaks. And by the way, they'll pay no more than they did under Ronald Reagan.
Governor?
Did that sound anything? Any part of the debate the other night? Could you imagine that being swapped in with this? And people not going, whoa, what the fuck happened there? Wow, he could speak. Yeah. When we talk about the decline, it's not a political thing like, oh, he's just a crazy old man. It's not that. I mean, it's clear. It's absolutely clear that there's a problem, a massive problem. I mean, he even has a second thought there that he brings in seamlessly into what he was saying. Well, that turned out to be a fucking lie. I didn't say he wasn't a liar, Tailfin. I would never say that about Joe Biden. I have too much integrity on that front. All right, let's go see what AOC's dumbass is up to over here. Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez. People who call me Alexandria Cortez, they're just... The Supreme Court has become consumed by a corruption crisis beyond its control. Today's ruling represents an assault on American democracy. The Supreme Court did not stop you from voting. There was no ruling about voting today. It is up to Congress to defend our nation from this authoritarian capture. I intend on filing articles of impeachment upon our return. Do it, bitch. I dare you. I fucking they're going to get a Supreme Court justice killed. You know that, right? They're going to get him killed. I saw one guy who said, we need to stop Trump no matter what. Be sure to vote. Yeah, that's what you meant. AOC hates the Jedi Council. AOC's a retard. Go ahead and bring up articles of impeachment. See how that goes. You're not even going to get you won't even get 50 votes in the Senate for that. There's no fucking way. There's no way you're going to get it through the House in the first place. It'll be rejected because it's stupid. There was more reason to impeach over, if you were going to impeach a justice, over Roe than there is for this decision. Authoritarian capture, they got rid of the Chevron defense. Yeah. Chevron deference. I'm not saying it. I saw so many people calling it the Chevron case. I'm just going to start doing that. Yeah. These power hungry bastards. Yeah, they're fucking stupid. She does have nice boobs. We don't know that. That could be a padded bra. You don't know what her boobs actually look like. There's a deep fake out there, but that's not actually her. For all you know, she got fucked up titties. She got some angry titties with one nipple looking to the left and the other one looking down and to the right. It doesn't. You guys stop falling for that. You know, women lie to us about their boobs, right? They wear padded bras and lifting bras and separating bras and supported bras and underwire bras and sports bras. They lie about their titties. There is a titty lie conspiracy out there. I'm just telling you. I hate to be the one to break that. Look at Alyssa Milano. She looked like she had nice boobs, and then you see him and like, why she got plungers on the end of her titty? Yeah, you just can't take titties at face value. I'm just saying. Gentlemen, that does not mean go out there and start asking women for nudes. Stop doing that weird shit. Oh my God! Just to wrap this up, because I'm done with the real shit, because I feel horrible, you guys. I want to talk about. I was watching a compilation of Moist Critical's videos, and he put together a compilation of where he goes through and reads bad date stories, and it's the text back and forth between people that get posted online. And in this one, things go south real quick, and the guy says that he's tall and handsome, and she says, well, I like short guys. And the guy says, well, what do you consider short? And she says, 5'7" to 5'10". Now, if you know who Moist Critical is, that is funny as fuck, because Moist Critical is 5'6". And I just laughed really hard and thought it was funny that he's just trying to have a little fun at the expense of this thing, and he has to read that he's shorter than a short guy. Women, do you really consider guys 5'7" to be short? I mean, they are compared to me, but I'm 6 foot, and most guys aren't. Anyway, with that, when was the last time they did a survey on how tall the average guy is? Charlie's good people. Charlie's funny as shit, man. I like him. He's my go-to when I just want to chill. I go find something Charlie posted. You're fucking yes, Charlie. You're a fucking buffoon. What you have there are called mags, not clips. You look like a dummy. That's what Charlie said to Sneeko in that wonderful exchange. Anyway, guys, I am going to wrap this one up. I don't know if you can hear it. My voice is going. Excuse me. I'm going to go take off, and believe it or not, in the middle of summer, turn on my heater because I'm fucking freezing right now, and rest. So you guys take care of yourselves. We will get back to game streaming. I have not gotten one done in like 3 days. I will do it probably tomorrow if all goes well. And then there is going to be a dip in my schedule again because family obligations coming up. But by the week after the 4th of July, things should be back to normal, and we'll be I don't want to say regular schedule, because as somebody who pointed out at the beginning of the stream, I have frequently infrequent streams. And with that, yeah, that's not. We'll get back to our regular, unregular schedule. And that makes it sound like we shit ourselves. We'll get back to our normal dysfunctional timing. How about that? Everybody take care of yourselves. I love you. Thank you for watching. Thank you for the donations. You guys are so, so kind. Be well, and I'll see y'all next time. I don't have a song. You guys ever notice most of my songs sound kind of country? I never come on here and just scream into the mic like an angry metalhead band. I wouldn't even know how to do that, because typically when I'm goofing off singing, I always do it in a country sound for some reason. That was my spoken word poetry. Have a good night, and I'll see you tomorrow. Maybe.